It is so hot. Don't ask me why I decided to make a video outside today. I'm in Southern California and it's like probably 95 out here today, but I know because I'm the only idiot sitting out here that I have serenity, peace, quiet. Nobody around, nobody to hear my thoughts aside from you guys, so it's a little secret what I'm going to share today. I wanted to share something kind of, I don't know, kind of crazy. It's going to be the history of my drug use and what helped me to get beyond it. And I started smoking at like 12 years old. I smoked weed for the first time at 12 years old. I had a paper boy come over with like his Iron Maiden bong and smoked me a bowl before I started seventh grade. I became like a regular stoner. And I also, my dad was like a big time alcoholic, so we had like a full bar full of all kinds of stuff to mix up drinks. So I remember like I'd make some drink in the morning, like cream de menthe, I think was what I grabbed, and vodka and something else. I'd throw it into a thermos every day at school, and that would help me get through my like social issues. Like I was very timid around people, just not comfortable at all in social environments. So when you're packed in a school, and I lived in a decent sized city, you know, with like 1,200 students, it was rough, especially junior high. So I drank daily, on the daily back then. Daily drinker, daily weed smoker. About 15, I tried crack a few times. Did a little roll with that. Then I graduated, I guess, into shrooming and LSD. Did a lot. Well, not a lot. Comparative, I guess, to some friends. I didn't do a ton of LSD. I did a bit though. Enough. More than I needed for sure, probably. I remember about 20, 21 or so. I went out to a friend's house and he was talking up crystal meth. He had gotten into crystal meth pretty bad. And I remember he told me, he's like, I only have enough for you to shoot it. So I was drunk and I'm like, game on, let's do this. So he fixed me up and he shot me up with some crystal meth. And that was the first time I'd ever shot anything. But I did that, and that was crazy. That was a real experience. That was wild. But I instantly became into it. Like I was using it all the time, and I remember just, whew, weeks of not sleeping and just partying, and got into selling it with friends out there. I lived out in Hollywood at the time. I moved in with them just because that's where the drugs were. Like I come from a community that's smaller, like 100, 130,000, maybe it was 100,000 back then. This was a while ago. I moved out to the big city of LA in Hollywood. We lived behind Man Chinese Grauman Theater, and we just sold dope and got high like all the time, and had rock stars coming over, and you know, women hanging out all the time, and it was just kind of living the life. Yet I know I wasn't happy. Who's happy when they're using drugs? I mean, really, let's be honest. Like, you're not happy. When I discovered heroin, I was a big fan. I really dived into that deep. I explored that to the end. I had a bad habit really quick, and you know, hanging out with different bands that would use it, and then just I used it on my own, and that was something with crystal meth that I would come home and stay with my mom sometimes, and I wouldn't use when I was out here, so we'd get these breaks. But heroin, no, there was no breaks. Like it was straight use all the time, and I did that for a while. I've always been kind of strong-willed, I guess, so I did get off of it. I went through the rehab program. I stayed there like 30 days and went out. And I remember when I came out, like I went in with just the intention of kicking heroin. I was not going to quit drinking. Like, no way were you going to take booze away from me. But I did actually quit drinking, like through the AA program and the different stuff in rehab. I actually did come to the determination that I wanted to quit drinking, and I did momentarily, like not long. Like it didn't take me long to get back on the drink. I was maybe sober, completely sober, maybe about 3 months, and then I think some guy sparked a joint when I was coming home through an AA meeting with him, and he was my ride, and you know, then I went back to drinking, sneaking beers here and there. When I was stupid, I was going out to bars with friends. You know, how are you going to stay sober when you're hanging out with a bunch of people that are drinking, having a good time? It was inevitable. I met my wife, ex-wife, I guess at about 23, and I was drinking heavily then. Still stayed off the heroin. I maintained to stay off the heroin at that point about 2 years, but I remember a girl I hadn't seen in a while. She came around and she was like, "Hey, I scored like some good stuff. So do you want to have a little?" So I remember she broke me off some and gave me some. Uh, And I went home and I remember like thinking like I won't shoot it, and I didn't have the setup to shoot it. I didn't have needles or anything, but I remember I'm like I'll just smoke it. That'll be my thing. Like I won't get hooked if I just smoke it. And I remember smoking it, and she didn't give me a ton, but she gave me enough to where I was able to get a little bit of a taste going again. So I called up some old friends and got some more. And I remember it just started, like, I started dawning on me again. I'm like, here I go again. Like, here we go again. I quit before I got too far. Like, I had met my wife to be at that point. And I think the realization I had at that point was that love, like, won out. Like, really, like, I loved her. I knew what path I was going to go down if I continued on with using heroin. And I quit just because love like won out. Like it was like I can't have both. You can't have drugs and love. And that's going to bring me to a point in a minute here. But uh, I did continue to drink. I continued to smoke weed. And then my wife, after we got married, my wife and I were having problems. Like we would get drunk and we would just be like ridiculous, like insane ridiculous. And do really stupid stuff. So we both decided to quit together, and we did successfully. We just quit it, got out of the party scene altogether. I left a lot of friends behind because everybody I knew was a partier. So it just ended up being something that, we would just chill in our apartment alone, and still smoke bowls. Like I smoked bowls most of my life. I smoked weed like almost all my life. I had points where I would quit. Like I moved to Colorado for a while with her. 10 years we lived there, but when we first went there I had no connects, so it was like, well, like what are we going to do? It wasn't legal yet, so I didn't smoke. But once I got connects, yeah, I started smoking again, of course. I went through my kratom phase too. I went through an Oxycontin phase. The Oxycontin got really bad because what I used to do with the heroin was I used to do speedballs, which is a mixture of heroin and cocaine, for those of you that aren't familiar, and that was my jam. That was my good stuff. And when I was misdiagnosed bipolar at one point, they put me on a bunch of meds, and then they put me on Adderall because I'm like, I can't think clear because of all these meds you guys have given me. I can't think clear to do my job, which I was a writer at the time. So I really got hooked on the Adderall, and the thing I'd love to do was just to break open a capsule, smash it up, and snort it up. Like they started me on Ritalin, and I'm like, this isn't enough. Like give me something stronger. So I started doing Adderall, and later I developed, I had the reaction to the Levaquin, the pain condition that I'm healed from now, but I had that happen, and they prescribed me Oxycontin. So of course it was like, boom, like, wow, like I had this Adderall, I had this Oxycontin, because the Oxycontin's making me tired. So I remember I went to my pain specialist, and I'm like, it makes me so tired. She's like, well, here's some Adderall. So it's like, oh, hello, old friend. And man, I went like 2 years on that, and it was like ruining the marriage. It really was. I mean, not only did I have this horrible pain condition that was causing problems in the marriage, but I was abusing the drugs like to the point where I would take a 20 milligram Oxycontin. Maybe break up like 4 in the morning to snort, and then I would forget like what I was even doing. I would just be like, boom, into the bathroom, boom, into the bathroom, and just kept snorting them like repeatedly. Like I have no idea how many I would do, but they would give me enough for a month to take, like, I got like, I think 120 a month. So enough for a month they would give me, and then I would be through with that in like a week. Plus they gave me oxycodone on top of it, which was like, I said, oh, no Tylenol on that. I don't want to hurt my liver. And I went crazy on that stuff. I did quit cold turkey. I just stopped calling the pain specialist, never went back, and don't regret that at all. I did fall into kratom for a while and used that on a daily. But as an update now, as far as drug use, I have quit marijuana as of about a month ago. I no longer drink. That's been a while. I quit smoking. I no longer use kratom. Let's leave that open because I haven't used kratom recently, but I might again. So we don't know. It could come in handy for different situations, social situations. But I'm clean, and the thing is that saved me again was love again. And when you look at love, like it could be love for a person, it could be love of self, which I think this is partially love of self, but I think more importantly it's love of God. It's a love and a respect for God, and a respect that when we become a Christian, we have the Holy Spirit residing in us. So I don't want to be pouring all of this stuff into my head. Plus, it also says that we should be of sober mind. So right there, I understand like some people have that argument that plants are God's gift to us, and there is that in the Bible. But then I think the being sober of mind contradicts that. So I know when I smoke weed, I'm certainly not sober of mind by any means. Like I'm all out there. I think that's something important for anybody that's struggling with drugs is that there's love is what helps you. Whether it's love for somebody else and you want to be better because you love them and you know that this is destroying you, or a love of yourself where you develop self-love and you're like, why am I doing this to myself anymore? I'm not going to. Or then the all-powerful way really is the love of God. And what happens incredibly in the love of God is where I have failed on my own at trying to quit these drugs, God has been able to deliver me from them easily. Like, it's incredible how easy I will say, like, I want to quit kratom. It's just like, boom. Like, I don't think I suffered full brunt of withdrawals, maybe. Quitting alcohol, no problem. Like weed, I slept like a baby the first night. Like, and I used to have problems with that. Not that weed is, some major thing to come off of, but I had no problem with it. And just looking at some of the different things I've done, like cigarettes, like boom, he can help you just get off everything. It's the love of God, and he gives you his strength, which is so crucial. Like, a lot of AA talks. Now, I'm not going to knock AA because I know it does work for some people. It doesn't work for me, and the reason being is that when I went in and listened to a bunch of people talk about their problems, like emotionally, I took that on. I felt what they were feeling. That was depressing to me. It was hard for me to deal with, especially when I was trying to get clean and sober, and already struggling with my own emotions. But also that talking about drinking all day made me want to drink. Like, really, like, let's talk about booze for like an hour. No. I'd rather not. I'm not knocking it, but I think one of the things that's really powerful that they do mention in there is that having a higher power. Now, I do in some ways disagree with that because they told me I could pick a higher power, and I remember people saying, I pick the ocean, or I pick this or that. But really, there's only one true higher power that's going to be able to actually work in your life to help deliver you from it. So, and you know who that is. I'm referring to Jesus Christ. Yeah, it's love of Jesus to help deliver me. And I feel that anybody that's suffering from drugs or alcohol, if you truly look into Scripture, if you truly look into your heart and pray and ask for help, ask for forgiveness for what you've done, it's so freeing. It's so powerful. We're a slave. Like, I was such a slave to drugs. I was such a slave to so many things. And you don't realize it because you think you're making a choice. Yet it's not a choice because you really have no choice. You're going to have to use. That's just the way things are going. So there's a freedom for me in being sober now. And as crazy as it is, like, it's better. Like, I'm happier. I don't go to bed wondering where I'm going to get another hit from or another fix. Like, I don't know. I know a lot of people struggle with drugs. And one of the things I've always wanted to do if I could, like, I didn't go to school for it, I was a writer instead, and that was just self-taught, but if I could do this self-taught, I would love to be a drug counselor. I would love to try to help people get off of that and find what will help them. They probably wouldn't let me talk about Jesus all day though, but hey, I'll talk to you guys about it. If you're dealing with drugs, really, I think that's the route to go. And I think you'd find a lot of power and a lot of strength through God. Like, God can do anything. Like, Jesus mentioned that you can move mountains with faith. So you don't think that you can get over whatever problems are causing you to use or get over the withdrawal effects from use through Jesus? We can, and we do overcome. And I'm proof. I'm showing you that I am proof that I have overcome that. So that's my message for today. And I'd love to pray for anybody that would love prayers for that. If you're trying to come off something, you've maybe made a decision today to come off something, please write to me either through my Instagram, which I'll drop below, or write to me through the comments, and I will pray for you. There's power in prayer, and if you're praying and I'm praying, there's a power in that. Like, where two people pray together, there's more power. So let me help you. If you're struggling with things, let me help you do that. Like, through God, I can pray for you for sure. Any questions, comments, please drop them down below. And of course, as always, please support me through my Patreon account. That's what helps me make these videos. Guys, anything you need, any kind of help, anything I can do to help you, please drop it down below. If you like this video, please like, subscribe if you haven't already, throw a comment down. All those things help me. Share it with your friends. Again, I thank you guys for tuning in, and may God bless you.